New Orleans native Lloyd Jr. was born on January the 3rd of 1986. He grew up with his mom Robin in Calliope Projects and his dad Lloyd Sr. Unfortunately, Lloyd Sr. was killed when Lloyd was around 2 years old, and because of this, Lloyd's mom moved the family to Decatur, Georgia, and Lloyd would eventually meet with Joyce Irby, formerly from the girl group called Climax. Here his musical journey started with the group Tune at 12 years old singing R&B. The group would eventually break up in 2001 due to some of the other parents interfering with the amount of screen time certain kids got, and they couldn't work together anymore. After the group broke up and Lloyd was dropped from the label, it definitely took a toll on Lloyd, and he started acting up as a teenager. He was trying to fit in the wrong crowd. He started skipping class, he started smoking marijuana, and at age 17 he found himself arrested for selling weed in possession of a firearm. Fortunately for Lloyd, he only had to do community service and pay a fine. Later on, he would eventually move from Decatur, Georgia to New York City to pursue his dreams in music, and this is where he met and signed with Irv Gotti, the owner of Murder Inc. Records, in 2003. Not too long after signing, on January the 3rd of 2003, the headquarters of Murder Inc. Records were raided due to the year-long investigation of money laundering, and this seemed like the worst time for Lloyd to get signed. Irv Gotti would eventually rebrand the label and renamed it the Inc. Records on December the 4th of 2003, following the controversy surrounding the label. In the midst of Irv's pending case, Lloyd's first album, Southside, was released on July the 20th of 2004, and it contained the lead single Southside featuring his label mate Ashanti. Both the single and album were successful. The album did go ahead to peak at number 11 on Billboards and sold over 67K in its first week. In December of 2005, Chris and Irv Gotti were found both not guilty of money laundering and conspiracy to launder money through their label. During this time, Hurricane Katrina hit and impacted so many families, including Lloyd's, and financially he was strapped for cash. He did go on to ask Irv Gotti if Irv Gotti could help him out, but unfortunately Irv couldn't help him out due to his own situation. So Lloyd basically went back to do what he knew how to do best, which is to make music. He made the song You featuring Lil Wayne and sent it to the radio station, which he thought was illegal. I don't know if that's legal or not, but I thought that was payola as well. Lloyd found his career at a standstill during this time because, you know, he had to push this single by himself, and Irv had his own thing going on with the federal case. But with the success of this single, You, Atlantic Records noticed Lloyd's talent, and of course they wanted to sign him and give him his own production company. And because of this, Irv took notice of this, and he would go on to sue Atlantic Records because guess what? Lloyd was still technically signed to Murder Inc. So that wouldn't make any sense. And of course, the deal did fall through. On March the 13th of 2007, Lloyd's second album, Street Love, was released, and it featured hits like You and also songs like Get It Shawty. You guys remember Get It Shawty? Get it shawty, get it shawty, get it shawty. You was a major pop hit for both Lloyd and Lil Wayne. This album would debut at number 2 and sell over 144K its first week, which was a big deal, and it has been certified gold by the RIAA. His third album, Lessons in Love, was released in 2008 and also made it to the top 10 on Billboards. This was his last album with Murder Inc. Records, and because there was so much going on with him and Irv Gotti, he pretty much fought out of his contract with Irv Gotti. In 2009, Lloyd garnered major publicity with his feature on Young Money's Bedrock and later released an EP called Like Me, the Young Gotti EP. Just a random note, Lloyd decided to cut his long hair in 2010 and donated it to the Locks of Love charity, which basically helps people with cancer, and many people certainly loved this new look of Lloyd's, and he looked great if I might say so myself. In 2010, he signed with Interscope Records and Zone 4 and released his fourth studio album called King of Hearts in 2011. The single Lay It Down from the album peaked at number 7 on Billboard's Hot R&B. Also around this time, his former boss Irv Gotti, for some reason, let the world know that he wouldn't care if Lloyd got hit by a truck because Lloyd did a record with 50 Cent, who we all know his former label mate Ja Rule had major beef with, and they just felt like Lloyd was being a snake for working with their common enemy. But Lloyd didn't have any beef with 50 Cent. He's not a street dude. Like, what? What beef did Lloyd have with 50 Cent? It's kind of like that situation of you basically taking on somebody else's enemy and making it your own simply because you guys are friends, which is kind of weird at that big age. And of course, there was certainly no love lost there, and Lloyd took the high road because we all know that Irv is pressed and in distress. I mean, look at the things he says about Ashanti of all people. You guys know how sweet Ashanti is, and this man finds every situation to demean her and to degrade her. It's just so disgusting, the things he says about people that he quote unquote was friends with or had love for. Like, something is wrong with Irv. I don't know if it's a midlife crisis. Lloyd is better than a lot of people because it couldn't have been me, certainly. Lloyd was going through hard times after Hurricane Katrina, and he had to support his family financially. So I don't understand what type of gripe Irv really had with Lloyd. It has to be something deeper than that, because for Lloyd it was just business came first over Irv Gotti's feelings. In 2016, Lloyd earned his GED, so congratulations, and after a 5-year hiatus from music, he released a smash single titled True, where he essentially told us that he's been going through a lot in his personal life, and it was just an emotional single and it had a lot of depth. So if you guys haven't listened to the single True, go ahead and listen to it. And of course, the single was certified platinum, and he released an EP titled True that same year and the album True LP in 2018. In 2017, he did welcome his first child, a boy, and in 2018, his daughter was born. The following year, Lloyd joined the lineup for the early 2000s Millennial Tour. Lloyd has also displayed his talent and acting skills in UPN's One-on-One and the movie The Bobby DeBarge Story, as well as like stage plays. But despite the ups and downs of his music career, Lloyd has been able to persevere, and his voice is definitely a staple of the early 2000s.